If you're a heat and air conditioning technician or even a salesperson, what are some things that you could do to give yourself a better chance of closing deals, and why does it matter? This is a fantastic question. I'm Scott Sylvan Bell, coming to you live from Sacramento, California, on a perfect day to talk about sales and business, and a fantastic day to talk about you. I'm coming to you live for HVAC Technicians Sales Secrets. Okay, so everybody communicates a little bit differently. You got people who are visual, they see things. You got people who are auditory, and they hear things. You got people who are kinesthetic, and they touch. And you got people who are digital. And so like people are like, oh, what's digital? It's going to be like somebody who's an accountant and very factual based. Now, the reason why this is important is there's things that excite us. There's things that are like, hey, this is awesome. And then there's things that are just like, this just really frustrates me. Okay. So for me, I have hyperhearing. I'm the opposite of deaf. And so there's certain things that just set me off that really wouldn't matter to anybody else. So I'm sharing this with you because yesterday I got a phone call from somebody from a project that I want to be involved with. And they called me on speakerphone. Okay. So like for you, probably not that big of a deal. For me, I can't hear. I can't hear the speakerphone. I have to strain to listen to the sound. And I asked the person on the phone, I said, hey, are you on speakerphone? And they said, yes. And I said, could you do me a favor and take me off speakerphone? And they gave me a lot of pushback. And I wasn't doing it to be a jerk. I literally can't hear when people put me on speakerphone on a desk. And then so next thing I know is the person's taking notes and the keyboard is clacking like clickety clack, 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 clack. And I really want to work on this project. It's something that I want to do. It's something that I've been involved with for about 3 weeks. And like in my mind, I'm like, I want out. I don't want to do this. And the person that I was dealing with was not a mainline person. The person that I was dealing with was not my counterpart. The person I'm dealing with has really nothing to do with this project, but it frustrated me. And like, hey, Scott, what does that have to do with me and my sales? Like, this has everything to do with your sales. But before we get into that, you should go to hvactechsecrets.com. I'll give you the goods, not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel. Go to that URL, type it in, and, put in some info. So a couple of things. One, for people who are auditory, one of the best things to do is to find a nice quiet place to have a presentation. If you're going to make a phone call, make sure that your sound is good and you got a good microphone. There's not a ton of wind in the background. Like, this is pretty straightforward. If people are visual, make sure that they can see what you're presenting, that like they're not trying to strain their vision, that they're not trying to work too hard to get to the presentation. And if they're kinesthetic and they need to touch things, give them the things that they need to touch. Give them the things that they need to associate with. And if they're digital and they're the analytical type person, give them the facts that they need. Okay. And this may seem like, hey, Scott, this is like sales 101. It is. It's how you prevent yourself from getting objections. And so one of the best things that you could do is watch other people's sales presentations and look for what they do right. Look for the good, look for what they do right, and look for the things that they screw up. Look for the right, look for what they screw up. Okay. And so even in your own personal life, just because like I come on and I say, hey, here's all the cool things that are going on, or here's the struggles, doesn't mean that I don't make mistakes. Doesn't mean that I don't screw up. Doesn't mean that I don't have problems. It's just, I document what I see and the struggles that I go through and the struggles that other people have. This is a big one, right? Meet people where they're at. Give them the presentation that they need. Give them the information that they need. And like, everybody decides a little bit differently. You're not going to decide like I am, and I'm not going to decide like you are. So like sometimes what happens is salespeople push everybody into like one generic presentation, and that's fine, right? Have your canned presentation, but like have your yes ands. Have your like, oh, okay, I'm dealing with a visual person. Here's what I need to do here. Oh, I'm dealing with an auditory person. I may have to talk really loud, or I have to talk quiet. Or I may have to write really big for somebody who doesn't have the ability to see. But at the end of the day, here's what you need to know. It's your presentation. It's how you present, and it's how you show up. So one thing is, if you want to be better than other people, just show up clean. Where appropriate. Like if you're a technician and you work on stuff and your hands get dirty and your shirt gets dirty, there's a point in the day where that's normal. If you're an attorney type person and you're showing up in a suit and tie and that's what you're supposed to do, then that's what you're supposed to do. But, like there's a lot of times where I see business meetings go down while I'm traveling in hotel lobbies, in hotels. And I'm like, I see how that dude's showing up. You think that that's going to get business? No freaking way. Right? So pay attention to how you give your presentations. It really does matter. You got one of three things to do from here, just one of three. Find the subscribe button, click on it, and every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.